Hello, everybody, and welcome to Game Woven, a collaborative world-building project building a world one game at a time. I'm your host and showrunner, TT Benjamin, and I am joined by some outstanding folks, and we will be playing Oh Captain by Captain by the outstanding James D'Amato. And we have a guest. You'll never guess who it is. It's the actual outstanding James D'Amato.
Hello, heroes. I'm happy to be here.
We'll introduce Oh Captain, My Captain in just a second. Why don't we introduce the other members of the Game Woven podcast who are joining us? Emily, you want to kick us off?
Hello, I'm Emily, all around the internet at As Was Foretold. I'm the lore keeper around these parts.
And the devil works hard, but Bree works harder. Let's talk to Bree.
Hi, Brianna Jean. I edited this on top of probably too many other things, but it's fine, and I'm also an indie author that likes to write stories that will make you cry. I've got a running tally. My first book has made 7 people cry, my second book has made 3.
And I'm TT Benjamin. You know me. You bully me online. I'm the host and showrunner of the Game Woven podcast, game designer, actual player, and all-around mediocre guy. James, would you kindly tell us about the game that we're going to be playing today?
Absolutely. So we are going to be playing Oh Captain, My Captain, which is a Descended from the Queen RPG. This means it is a role-playing game that examines a group of people that all have a relationship, a very important relationship, with the same figure. We'll go through and find the story within the rules, but playing this game is a little different than some other RPGs. Your characters may never have names. The captain, who is the center of the game, might not have a name, but the story still will be emotionally gripping through that lovely freeform collaboration that we like to indulge so much as we roleplay. To get things started, this game comes with instruction cards to set things up. Normally, we're all sharing the same physical space, and we pass the deck of cards around the table, each taking turns to read them aloud. But because we are separate due to the laws of physics, I am going to be reading those cards aloud to all of you instead, and we're going to pretend that it has the same fun pace of everybody taking turns reading things aloud. So, Oh Captain, My Captain is a game that tells the story of a crew on a dangerous adventure led by a legendary captain to get a mysterious prize. Players roleplay as crew members. They draw and answer prompts from the question card deck to tell their story on this adventure with their trusted captain. Players rely on their story-building skills to paint a picture of who the captain is, adding details with answers to question cards and follow-up questions asked by fellow players. If this is anyone's first time playing, read these rules aloud, taking turns in a clockwise order. The player to the left of the speaker always draws and reads the next card. After you've read the rules cards, proceed to the story card deck, once again reading aloud and taking turns. Separate the question cards, ending cards, captain cards, and X card. Place them within easy reach of everyone playing the game. Determine the desired number of question cards for the number of players and the length of game you'd like to play. Count out a stack of that many cards and put the decision card at the bottom of the stack. Place this stack on top of the rest of the question card deck, making sure all question cards are face down. This way, you won't be able to anticipate the exact ending time of the game or read any questions ahead of time. This game is set to take an hour or less to play. The length of the game varies based on the number of players, number of question cards, and how many follow-up questions the group asks. Particularly invested and vocal groups may find that fewer cards are needed to hit around an hour of play, but for most groups we recommend using about 12 cards total. Now we reach the instruction that says take a look at the captain cards and decide if your group wants to use one of these as inspiration for the captain who will be the center of your game.
Wonderful. Thank you, James. I'm feeling the orc with the shot glass that kills you.
Yes, the huggable.
The huggable drinking orc captain.
Huggable captain that deals in poison.
I mean, one person's poison and is another's enjoyment.
Yeah, I would straight to the gates of hell. That could be word one from her mouth, and I'm going.
Great.
Yeah.
I love starting
That's how
there.
I feel.
That's a perfect place to start. And
Have an interesting type, Ben.
The initial description for this captain was Captain of the Watch. So like you can see like in the background we kind of have like a conspiracy board with red string there, but like this is a great like place to begin our descriptions. And all right, so we have that. Now we can move on to the next instruction. On your turn, draw from the top of the question card deck and read your question aloud and answer it with as much detail as you like. Some answers will be simple, while others will inspire lengthy narration. The details you highlight in your answers will establish truths about your character, the captain, your relationship, and the world around you. Some will even establish relationships between your character and others on the crew. Once you finish your answer, other players are encouraged to ask follow-up questions to expand the details of your answer. They can ask leading questions, but the truth regarding your character is always under your control. Once finished, put your used card in a discard pile before the next player draws a question card to continue. Obviously, because we're separated, I will be reading your cards aloud, but the rest of that instruction is totally valid. If you encounter a question that doesn't fit your character, or that you would rather see one of the other players answer, you may hand the card off to someone else and say, "I'd rather see you answer this instead." That player can also elect to pass the question on, and if no one at the table is interested in answering, you may simply discard it and draw a replacement card from the bottom of the question deck. If someone does answer the question, skip their next turn and proceed with the turn of the player who initially passed. Each crew member should answer one question per round. If a question makes you uncomfortable for any reason, you may tap the X card to remove it from play. Any other player can also do this, even for questions that don't appear on their own turn. If a card is removed from play, the player who drew the card initially draws a new card from the bottom of the questions deck. If a player mentions an uncomfortable or undesirable topic, any player can tap the X card. Play pauses so the second player can explain the specific topic they'd like to avoid with no other explanation required. The first player simply changes their answer to remove the unwanted content. Obviously, because we don't have a central X card, I'll ask folks to say X or, make some wildly wave your arms so that everybody can see so that we know. The heart of this game is in answering questions to make discoveries. Your answers will establish the truth of the story, so be curious, ask questions, and look for connections among everyone's ideas. This will tell you who the captain is, who you are, what the elusive prize is, and what the relationship of the crew is like. All of that will help you answer the final question that defines your story. Don't feel pressured to have immediate answers to your fellow crewmates' questions all at once. Let some ideas linger and develop through the game. Feel free to make bold choices that shift the game in major ways.
Bree, I see that smile.
Nothing is established about any character, captain or crew, until explicitly stated in a player's answer. Even when using an illustrated captain card for reference, the captain's gender, appearance, and personality are ambiguous, so they are established by a player. It is typical to end the game without giving your character or the captain a name. The most important thing is that you come to understand the complex relationship you have with your captain and crew. Additionally, though some details about the prize can be established during gameplay, your crew as a whole decides what the prize actually is at the end of the game. Players take turns drawing from the question card deck and answering prompts until someone draws the decision card. Follow the instructions on that card, and so players vote by simultaneous gesture on what they believe to be the deepest truth about the captain. Based on the result of the vote, read the question on the corresponding ending card. Each player will answer the question on the ending card. Once each player is answered, the game is over. Those are our instructions. I am now going to move on to the story cards. These cards are just our introductory narration before we jump into the game. Also, I am going to set our play deck for this group. We have a long-ish time slot, so the question that I have is, do we want to go with the standard 12 cards? Do folks want more? How's everybody feeling? And I will use the standard 12 for this group. All right, I'm going to read the story cards for us now. You and your fellow players are part of a crew led by a legendary captain. Recently, your crew has fallen on hard times. You've taken losses, missed opportunities, and your resources are dwindling. Some have even begun to whisper about mutiny. The captain has emerged with a plan to claim a marvelous prize. They insist it will turn everything around and reward everyone on the crew beyond their wildest dreams. However, this prize requires a perilous journey to claim. The captain insists that to acquire the prize, they need to lead a small expedition comprised of a chosen few. You know that you have been selected for this group for one reason. The captain knows that as you depart on this adventure, you believe in them. Unless otherwise noted, play proceeds clockwise, and the player to the left of whoever is speaking now, they draw the first question card and begin the game. Left and right are vague here, but we're going to start with foretold. I used the nickname. I used the gamer tag.
Good. That's gonna be my character name somehow.
I love it. Your question is, on this journey, you made a discovery that you shared with everyone except the captain. What was it?
Starting out with a discovery keeping from the captain. Oh my.
Yeah.
I think what I discovered was the name of the person who first started calling mutiny.
Oh.
I know who it is who's sowing dissent among the crew, but have not told the captain to give it a chance to have it settled down before it becomes a problem. Like, our captain is probably the sort who would take immediate action against this, but I don't want to see this happen because I believe in the captain. I believe that what we're doing is going to help our crew, and once we come back with this treasure, whatever it may be, they'll realize their mistake and can go on maybe repenting for their not followed through crimes.
Who is this person to you that you would protect them from the captain?
My brother.
Okay. Your brother whispering about this mutiny, you believe the captain would take immediate action, and presumably it would be action that would harshly punish your brother. Do you not think that's an appropriate way to deal with, like, mutineers? Is it really just your emotions, or do you not trust the captain's judgment? Do you think the captain is over harsh?
I think it's probably a bit of both. Like, I don't want to risk this, and like, hey, maybe I can talk you out of it and talk you down, but also I think I've seen the captain make some snap judgments before, and it might not be like physically dangerous, but it could just be you're exiled from here. Get packing.
could also feed into the people who are believing what your brother's saying. Could just stoke that fire more, make him a martyr.
Interesting. Let's move on to our next question here. This will go to Brianna. The captain trusts you. When did you abuse that trust?
I talked the captain into doing a job. And yes, we did get some rewards from that job, but there was something specifically I wanted to find on the ship that we attacked. I didn't tell anyone what I was looking for, but I was able to find and destroy the thing that I needed to find and destroy to protect myself. She didn't know that's why. I just said, this is someone who we need to target. She trusted me because I bring her good information.
What was the fallout of this attack? What broke bad?
We made it out of that particular encounter all right, but the person we attacked had allies who were not overly fond of the actions our ship took, which made things particularly dangerous and put us in a situation where we could easily make some very dangerous enemies.
Do you blame yourself for the situation that we, the crew, find ourselves in now?
A little bit, but I knew there wasn't a better way to get done what I needed to do. And if that wasn't done and certain truths got out, we would have just been in a different kind of danger.
But you believe you are so important, your well-being is so important to the crew, that it's as bad as dwindling resources and lost crew members.
I bring the crew information, I bring the captain information that helps us find jobs, find allies, find resources. There were other factors that led to our current situation, but I cannot do my job if people know who I used to be.
Ooh, juicy, I love it.
Welcome.
Now, did the captain know you had a CD pass when she brought you on the crew? That there might be something to reckon with down the line?
I don't think she knows all the details, but she knows some of it.
Now that you are the information broker for the ship, do we as a pirate crew do better background checks for people that we're hiring?
Yeah.
Great.
I mean, to be fair, the CD pass is mostly in the past. I just didn't want people to continue being able to follow me.
Of course, yeah.
I do have one final follow-up question. I don't want to, but you gave me too much, and now I'm like, I gotta keep pulling. Do you feel like, and maybe does the crew reciprocate this, do you feel like part of the crew, or more like a long-term consultant?
Sometimes it depends on who all is on the crew, because sometimes the crew make up changes. Sometimes I felt like I was part of the crew, like it was a family. Other times I felt more like a consultant, but through it all, my loyalty has been to the captain. Partially because, yes, she knows certain things, she doesn't ask certain questions.
I like it. Then, the captain spared you a punishment that would have been expected for any other member of the crew. Why?
The captain and I are mutually codependent. Not as lovers. And I don't even think the captain likes me. And I don't think I like the captain all that much. But we are stuck together, and I think there's some kind of magic involved. Like, I think something went wrong, and there's something that I do that only I can do now, and the captain needs me to keep doing that. And so we are just like, we kind of can't be separated. I'm kind of drawing on like the because she's got the red shot glass. I think there's like a poisons or potions thing or something, and an experiment and an experiment went wrong, and now we're kind of stuck with each other in sort of a weird way.
Does your relationship with the captain predate you being pirates together?
Yes.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah. I think I'm come again, gone again specter in the captain's life, and I finally got locked down, and now it's way worse because now we can't be separated ever.
Yeah.
So, you've mentioned you provide the captain with something that she needs. What do you get out of this? Why do you stay beyond the fact that she needs you to stay?
I think I need it too, and I think what I'm trying to get with here is what actually the thing is. I don't know how like deep and concrete we want to get.
Yeah, you can definitely say, like, I want to let this mystery develop as I learn more about the characters, or throw a hook in there.
So in the green room, we were talking about how, like, maybe the captain is sort of a poisoner and a potioner, an alchemist of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
I think we did an experiment. She did experiment on the crew a while ago. And I think we did an experiment once where it literally changed my physiology to the point where I can actually only survive if I continuously get a constant drip of weird alchemy stuff. I can't eat food. I can't drink water. I just need to drink poisons.
That's kind of neat.
That's fun.
She the only one that knows how to make the poison that keeps you alive, and you're the only one that knows how to make the poison that keeps her alive?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think there's like a mutual bonding here where we both have to imbibe something routinely together or we both die.
I kind of feel like you're the antidote for each other, like, in a way.
I was thinking maybe part of the potion is something in your DNA, so like hair or spit, or if we want to go weird, blood.
You could go weirder. So blood's a great place to stop.
I feel like hair and spit are actually weirder than blood, honestly.
I'm going to say spit and sweat are the thing. So it literally needs to be the sweat from my brow and the spit from my mouth in these concoctions.
God damn it, Ben.
You're not gonna do blood, sweat, and tears?
No, I'm not.
No, that's what she has to do.
Is it that it can't just be sweat and spit? It needs to be like sweat. I love it being sweat specifically from your brow. So whatever conditions are surrounding that, like, that must be created every time. And it has to be spit offered in, like, hatred. Like,
yeah,
you have to spit and, like, mean to spit at the captain.
And yeah, so there's an emotional component too. I can't,
Yeah.
and that means if I were to die, you can't just like harvest what's left to get another week or so. Like I gotta be together.
You're not
with it.
just locked into this toxic relationship because you're two people who don't like each other because you're forced to be together. You have to hate each other or you'll both die, which rules. It rules, and I love it. I love it so much. The fan fictions I am writing in my mind, the 10,000 monkeys that live in my brain have composed a Shakespearean romance betwixt these two.
So like it's a potion you have to make every month, so it's a monthly enemies to lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
And Ben, my last question to you, I promise, before we move on to discover another character, is it getting worse? Is the condition getting more severe and the potion working not as well? Or is it kind of consistent every time?
I think it was fine until we went on this smaller journey. And now we're closer together. We're around each other more often. And so the hatred and devotion are both magnifying. And for some reason, we've discovered that the frequency and need for the potion is increasing. The further we get from the crew, the further we get from normal, and the closer we get to the prize.
That rips. That absolutely rips. I love it so much.
Also, with being such a small group, you have to like start to trust each other. And it's
Oh,
a little
yeah.
harder to hate her enough for it to work as well if you have to trust each other that.
My blood pressure is actually rising right now, imagining how deeply uncomfortable this situation is for everybody.
Because do we all know? We have to, right?
I would love for us not to. I think that's funnier. Like, it's in Ben's hands.
I do, at least at the start of this, maybe it'll get revealed later, but I do think that the crew just thinks we hate each other, and it's like, why do they keep Ben around?
Why is
Is he
this
here?
person around? And why did he get to do that fucked up thing and not get punished for it? I'm so mad.
And now he's here as one of the most trusted crew members?
Yeah. I think I get away with a ton.
Oh, God.
It's
Ooh.
bad.
Oh, that's probably one of the reasons people are whispering mutiny, because you're around and you're awful for everyone.
Yeah.
That's great. Oh my God, I love it. Okay. For me, in the past, you have seen a side of the captain they don't usually show. Why do you hope you might see it again on this journey? I've been on this crew a long time. I know the captain better than almost anyone else on the crew. This used to be a much smaller outfit. We used to be on a different ship together. It was much smaller. And very few of the people who were on that original ship are here now. The captain has developed a reputation. A lot of the time, it's a matter of showing our flags, boats pull up, and we take what cargo we need, and they go on their merry way. We haven't had to truly cross blades in a very long time. I do remember the days when we did. And I remember how the captain fought. She was fierce, ruthless, efficient, moving through a battlefield like a tornado, leaving bodies left and right. It was poetry. There are people who describe dance, at least dance on the stages at the Capitol, where people funnel in thousands upon thousands of coins to see people who have honed their bodies into things of beauty to just witness grace. But I know that in the far-flung places of the world, with desperation at my back, I have witnessed such beauty time after time. And now that we have developed our reputation and we have our successes, I have been denied that. I believe that it's the captain's truest face, that it connects to a raw part of herself. One maybe that she is afraid of, but I'm not. And I know that we are in a desperate situation now. There are many things that the captain needs to secure to keep her position. And if I know one thing about the captain, I know that she's willing to do anything to preserve that. So here on this journey, I think we will face those trials again. I will once again see my captain on the battlefield in front of me. And I will witness beauty once more.
James D'Amato, everyone. Incredible. Have you ever seen her go too far?
There's no such thing as too far. A lot of people think a great warrior built in brutality. That isn't what the captain is on the battlefield. Efficiency is part of it as well. You're killing to win. not killing to kill, not killing for pain. Every movement is necessary. Every movement is purposeful. If it is a strong blow that shatters a sword and bone with it, then that is what was necessary to do. If it is a quick cut that slips past an artery and leaves someone gasping on the ground, that is what was necessary. There are so many people who fight clumsily, who move their bodies as though they are afraid of what is going to happen, whether it's them fearing that they will be struck down or them fearing that they will carry the weight of the murder that they will commit. The captain never moves like that. The captain knows precisely what she does, and she means to do it.
Do you know where the captain learned to fight like that? Or have you been too afraid to ask?
I know in my heart that I know where she learned to fight in this way. But I haven't asked.
What does your heart say?
Where do you think she learned it?
I think if I told you, you wouldn't understand.
I've seen more than most people realize.
And let's go back to the top of the turn order. Ooh, what do you hope the captain sees when they look into your eyes? And what do you fear that they will find instead?
Ooh. As someone who personally is very fond of going for swords in all things gaming and everything, like if I could make swords, I would. I heard tales of how she used to fight, and that's why I'm here. I'm absolutely not anywhere near the original crew, but I've heard of how she used to just make the sword sing and dance across any obstacle and just take it. I want that. So I'm hoping that she will look in my eyes someday and see promise. I will train you. But I know deep inside that right now, if she looks at me, all it's going to be is disappointment.
Oh,
Why do you feel the need to learn to fight like that?
I'm just a little guy. I don't have a lot physically to intimidate, but I want people to just feel the essence off of me that, oh, just the way you stand, the way you carry yourself, you are not someone to be messed with. I want that confidence to exist in the world without thinking that people are going to walk all over me.
Because you've been walked all over so much of your life.
Mm-hmm.
literally as a little guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're so small. What swords do you like visualize as like the most beautiful and powerful and the ones that you want to be like so good at?
Oh, I love me a good rapier, not gonna lie, you know this, but just a nice, just because I am probably newer, untrained with this sort of thing, what springs to mind is usually something too ornate to be practical. You know, that gleaming saber with all of the filigree, when really you want the blade to be where it's best. You want a quality blade. All of this is extra. The flashier your sword, the worse your steps, probably.
When is the first time you saw the captain's sword? And what did you think of it?
The day I first stepped on our ship. I could not look the captain in the eye, so I looked at her sword instead. Just to see, is this what I've heard about? Does it meet my expectations? Not even knowing what those expectations should be. Like, is it going to look well worn, well used, tarnished, gleaming? And it was just a sword. It was just a sword.
What part of like the assembly of the weapon disappointed you most? But what part kind of surprised you about it, that you've grown a little more attached to?
The handle is dull, but not in a way of neglect. It's just not really ornamented, but it does look used. And it doesn't have a crossguard.
Ooh, yeah.
She is that confident that you will not catch her hand off of that blade.
That.
That's
Love
awesome.
that.
Who on the crew has been training you while you try to prove you're worthy of training with the captain? Or have you just been training on your own?
Yeah, I don't know that anyone on the crew has actually been helping me. I think I've probably just been stealing away into a dark corner when I can to try and emulate what I've seen other people do, but not yet worked up the courage to ask for more training, because I'm not here to be a sword fighter, I don't think. I'm more a younger hand still being trained on the ropes, like literally, the rigging. But everybody has to be able to carry their weight in case we encounter something, so I'm just thinking ahead.
Did you and your brother join the crew together?
Yes,
Is he the only person that takes you seriously?
I think so. And he doesn't even act like he takes me seriously most of the time because, you know, little ribbing, you'll never do anything, but then we'll still you took a little stumble here. Try shifting your weight this way kind of deal. The begrudging guiding hand.
How has his attitude towards you changed since he started whispers of mutiny against the captain to whom you were so devoted?
I think he tried to keep it from me. Like, he didn't want me to know about it because he wasn't sure that I would be on his side.
Wild stuff. Love that.
I like drama, okay?
This is so dramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what we're here for.
Yeah.
Rihanna, you love something about the captain that most people find distasteful. What is it, and why are you drawn to it?
I think the thing I love most about the captain is how she doesn't hide how different she is from others. I think she's like originally from somewhere far away, so there aren't a lot of people that look like her in the areas that she's sailing, and she has never once tried to hide anything about who she is. And I admire that because there's parts of myself that I've always felt like I have to hide. Like, most people look down on her for being different, and I've started to not hide as many of my differences. I still don't tell people the life that used to be mine, but I'm starting to come out of my shell and let more people see.
The captain famously, when people join the crew, says that she's not like other girls. Encourages people to remove their glasses and let down their hair, to walk down staircases, that sort of thing, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's true, though. I think the captain kind of leads, like, straight up, like, I'm not like other captains, and everyone's like, every captain says that, and then you get on the crew, and it's like, oh, shit, this captain is nothing like other captains.
Yeah.
Brianna, what is one interesting carryover from the captain's, like, original culture that annoys the shit out of everybody, but she insists she will never let go of?
There's a song that her people play to greet the sun in the morning and to send the sun off to rest. And the instrument can be a little bit grating on your nerves when you're still very hungover from the night before.
Is it that there's an instrument that they use to score horror movies that is essentially like a piece of iron with like spikes sticking up through it that they have to like use a saw from a violin on, so it just has like these very high pitched metallic screeches?
Not exactly, but it's close.
It's definitely not a sound you want to wake up to.
Or go to sleep to, frankly.
I think it's played to scare away the demons of the night so they flee before the sunrise, and then scare them away from this place as the sun goes down to keep the darkness at bay.
That's so great.
Love that. Love it.
I have a follow-up based on that. So what's one cultural practice from your old life that you're trying to conceal that you occasionally indulge in, that if someone who knew, say someone from your hometown, if they caught you doing it, they would immediately peg you and you would get caught?
Ooh. I think it's something that happens around the same time the captain does her thing. So I usually do it like in the privacy of where she's playing her song. Because my people, we had a dance. It was something to celebrate the dawn of a new day and then celebrate the end of a day that was good. So I adapted it somewhat, and sometimes I try and only do it when I can like do it in in privacy around her. But sometimes whenever I hear other songs that are similar, as I've started to relax, I'll start doing some of the similar dance moves while I'm working. I don't think I quite realized that I'm doing it yet, and it's subtle, like how sometimes people just sit there and like they'll start like bopping their head to the music or like patting a rhythm on their legs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. All right, Ben. Ooh. The captain once summoned you to their quarters. How did this encounter change you?
So it's too easy to do the potion like that. Like that was the moment that no. We got to do something else.
No, yeah. So this is different because that happens every month at least.
Yeah.
I have a thought that connects to the potion thing, but not directly. It explains why you were doing a risky experiment.
Maybe the lead up. I'm also thinking something after, because like it'd be fun to make the relationship even more messy. Okay. I think it was as things started to spiral and the captain was just starting to put this plan together. I think I was the first person that she confided in. And I think the conversation kind of went, she started very softly and we were exchanging some drink and I'm very much on edge. And then eventually she blurted out that she feels like I'm the only person that she can really trust because I'm the only person who's honest about how I feel about her. Because it's really obvious how much I hate her. That's when she explained to me like this plan to go seize the gift. I obviously have to come along, so she wants me in on it first because I'm like her biggest critic, so I'm the person most likely to poke holes in it. And then she let slip something really important. And that is that if we do this and we get it, one of us is going to die and the other one is going to be cured. And since then, I have had a really hard time working up the appropriate amount of spittle filled with hate to get there so that the potion works. It's gotten harder and harder. I think the thing that's changing in me is the hatred is getting more like an act and less deep buried in my soul.
Are you more afraid of losing her, or are you more afraid of dying?
I think that's the central conflict, because it started out like, oh, I am going to kill you the second I can. Like if I can make this be your end, absolutely. And that has been changing gradually, and I am struggling with how to deal with that. Like I have given serious consideration to what it might look like to die for this captain, which is terrifying for so many reasons for me.
Was there a point you ever stopped thinking about what your life would be like after if you got free?
Yeah, I think we've been doing this for a while, and I forgot what it meant to be not attached to this person. To not, and literally, like, the hate isn't just for the captain, it's spilled over into everyone, because the hate is literally what has been sustaining my life for so long, and I just, you hate that much for that long, and you're so dependent on it, eventually you just learn to hate everybody.
Big Izzy Hands energy with this character. A question that comes up for me is when you say you've been doing this for a long time, have you been doing this longer than like a normal lifespan for people? Is this like actually preternaturally extending your lives?
I have to say yes, just because I have to. Like, there's no way that question hits and I don't say, oh yeah, we're definitely like a couple centuries old by now, when we should have been dead 150 years ago.
Sure.
So, what the thought that I had for what she called you into her quarters and like what led to the experiment that led to all of this is, what if she called you into her quarters to let you know she's dying and she wants you to help. She thinks she might have a way to fix it. She didn't want to die and leave her crew without a captain. So you did the thing and it didn't quite work out, so the two of you were bonded together, but now she's no longer dying.
And that was like during one of those moments. This is like a separate instance 200 years ago, and this was during one of those moments where we were cool for a little while, and I was kind of on like I was in a good mood that day. I was like, oh yeah, I'll help you survive. That's fine. And then we biffed it.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't found a way to fix it since.
Yeah, we goofed it up real bad.
You think you'd be willing to be the one that dies for her?
It used to be absolutely not. The second an opportunity comes up, she's going and I'm staying. Now I'm not so sure.
Interesting. How the turns have tabled.
When you found out about the mutiny, was there ever a point where you just considered letting it happen?
I like the loadedness of when you found out about the mutiny. Okay, we've established that I know about the mutiny.
Because I told everyone but the captain.
Right. I think God, everyone hates me so much already. And of course, I'm the asshole in the meeting that is like delaying things and slowing things down because I'm trying to figure out a way to reconcile. I got to square the circle because no one knows like how interdependent that we are. And I'm like, uh-oh, if this mutiny goes bad and she either kills everybody or they somehow get her and she dies, I'm going to die too. And that's no good for anybody. So I've been doing my best to just keep the can getting kicked through whatever means necessary, hopefully until we can get this prize. I haven't told her yet, but like I feel like even among the mutineers, I am not well trusted with detailed information about the mutiny because they are concerned that like I'd be the first to flip.
I like that. I like all of that. So much good stuff is brewing right now.
Thank you for listening to Game Woven. This week we have played O Captain, My Captain by James D'Amato, featuring special guest, the one and only James D'Amato, as well as our usual crew of TT Benjamin, Brianna Jean, and Emily. If you like what we're doing, go check us out on social media at GameWoven and support us at patreon.com/GameWoven. Also, don't forget to leave us a review so your friends can know where to find us, because word of mouth does a lot, and you know you love us.